friends, you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. We're back and we're talking more about Conjure. And I want to read to you from one of my newest books that I've gotten. Old Style Conjure, Hoodoo, Rootwork, and Folk Magic by Star Sauce. It's so excellent so far, I can't put it down. Therefore, I still want to make videos, so I'm reading it with you guys. Sharing the knowledge that I'm learning along the way. So here we go. I've done a couple of videos introducing this book already. One on Q&A and one on the foundation, or where it came from. And now we're talking about the altar. How to set up an altar for conjure work, okay? So what is an altar? A-L-T-A-R. The altar is nothing more than home for spirit to sit. This is a place between places where this world meets the spirit world, and it is a place where you can serve spirit. You can set up an altar to honor the spirits you work with. The only issue is that if you try to combine the multiple spirit or saints, you must make sure that they will work well together and be at peace with one another. Otherwise, you should separate the altar, okay? During slavery times, the ancestors were not allowed to have altars, even within the prayer houses. Their altars consisted of wherever they were doing the work at the moment. So, travel altars, as we think of them, literally were probably their best friend and a needed tool. Altars were more a product of modern times. My mama didn't have an altar. The kitchen table was where she was always at. That's cool. The kitchen is the heart of the home, and in the times of slavery, as today, it is where the fire was kept burning. The truth is, the altar can be anywhere or anything. You can leave it up, you can take it down when you're not serving the spirits that walk with you. It is really up to you. You can have no altar at all, or you can make it as simple or elaborate as you want it to be. Most folks need to feel connected to spirit, and the altar will become that connection. The altar is not only a good place to honor spirit, but it's also a good place for the worker to pray and petition to spirit. There is really not a good set rule for having an altar space. The first step to having an altar in your home is to figure out where you want the altar to sit. Again, there is no set place to have the altar. Still, I would like to give you a little direction. I have my ancestor altar facing the east because that is the place of the sunrise. And the Bible tells us that the dead will be raised in the east. Makes sense. And if I haven't said it already in this video, you cannot do conjure without the Bible. You can do without the Christian Bible, okay? You can do workings. Sure. You can do all these workings without it. It just won't be called conjure. Okay. So I've said it in this video. And the Bible tells us that the dead will be raised from the east. The east is also the best place for works that are intended to draw things toward you, such as love or money. The sun sets in the west, so the west is the best place for work that is intended to remove, such as banishing. You don't want the spirits you honor to be removed. You want them to draw in and sit on the altar that will become their home over time. One of my elders, Mimi, told me that once the north is where frost sets, and that the south is where fire rests. I've always worked with the directions in that way. To cool hot heads are placed in the north. Cold hearts are placed in the south to heat and warm them up. The main directions I work with are the east and the west for drawing and removing. That's really good to know. Drawing and removing east and west. So you decide where you want to set up your altar with those pieces of information in mind, and then it's time to cleanse the area where the altar will sit. Make a wish by steeping bay leaves, olive leaves, and 3 tablespoons of salt together. Make the wash just like you would a cup of tea. Pray Ezekiel 34 verse 27 over the wash 3 times while the wash is cooling. And then it goes on to read that Ezekiel. They'll put, with whatever spell they have or something that they want you to make, they'll put the Bible verse right in there. But you could just refer to your Bible. You need to have a Bible at your altar, as we discussed. Make a wish by, Do you guys want me to read these verses? If you do, let me know in the comments, but I'm not going to otherwise. Once the wash is cooled, strain off the herbs and let them set aside. Mix the wash with a little cool water. Clean the area where the altar will sit with the wash. So you're doing like a really super duper special cleansing before you set up your altar with this. Wipe off the table or whatever the altar will sit on. The floor can also be the altar if you choose to make it so. The important thing is that you are praying and petitioning Spirit as you are working. So I'm guessing you're calling Spirit to come and let this be your home. Let this place be a place where you receive offerings from me. Spirit, I wish to do conjure work. Please let me honor and respect you. Please reside here at my altar. Something like this, Where am I now? Some folks will simply use a white cloth as an altar. But I have the purple shroud that was on my sister's coffin as an altar cloth. Wow. That's crazy energy and really cool, like special. Like my siblings, we're not super close, but I love them so much. So I get that. Purple shroud that my sister's coffin as the altar cloth on my ancestor altar. The altar is a very personal space. There are no ideas to follow when setting up an altar for conjure work. In Wicca you have this here, east, west, da-da-da-da-da, chalice, da-da-da. It's not like that. No rules to follow when setting up your altar for conjure work. I'm going to give you a small list of colors that may help you decide on a color of cloth to add to your altar. Red represents blood, heat, fire, love, and all of these emotions that we feel for folks we love. Yellow represents the sun, success, warmth, and happiness. Blue represents peace, water, prosperity, and once again warmth. Green represents growth, money, fertile fields, and life. Purple represents power, glory, success, royalty, and mastery. White represents purity, power, and faith. Black absorbs and holds things. This is a good color for a healing or a cleansing altar space. This is just a little shared information. Nothing is written in stone. Follow the spirits that walk with you and decide what color cloth your altar will have based upon those things and what they mean. Color magic doesn't apply to this. This is conjure color magic, okay? The next step is to decide what you will have on your altar. There are no hard and fast rules about what items are placed on a conjure altar, but there are a few basic things. I know I'm going to have a chicken foot for cleansing and brushing at my altar. But, ow! Because I just did up chicken feet and burnt myself. This is that for $2.99. I got this tea light candle wax aromatherapy. So I put wax up here from a tea light candle that I broke up, and then I put orange oil and frankincense oil in, and as you can see, the tea light just goes in there, and then 3 of the sides have, you know, our star of creation. So that's super fun. Okay, so the next step is to decide what we'll have in our altar. Here's a few basic things. A cool glass of water is needed on the altar to give a spirit a drink. You can also add a cup of coffee as an offering. You need to offer some kind of smoke for them. When I smoked, I gave them a cigarette as an offering. I still do sometimes, but now I like to offer them burning herbs. Again, it's burned smoke. So, it's not just offering a cigarette, it's offering the burned smoke. So the best way for most people is probably going to be incense. If you do smoke cigarettes, you should quit. But if you do smoke cigarettes, you can have that as your offering. So yes, smokes. You can burn them. Herbs. They seem to like the smoke from the herbs. You can also read the smoke as it whiffs up off the fire. The ancestors will need... Why are they saying read it like divination? You can also read the smoke. Yeah. The ancestors will not need a candle or an oil lamp. All you need to keep is to keep a Bible on the altar, as it helps when you have questions and need answers. This type of Bible work is called bibliomancy. And that's when you just take your... Okay, bibliomancy is nothing more than divining with the Bible. Hold the Bible in both hands and draw it close to your mouth. Ask a question by kind of pushing your breath out as you speak your breath as it flows over the Bible. So like this. Holy Bible, I will be asking you this question today. You know, will I have safe travels along my journey in this upcoming trip? And it wants you to blow your words on the book, okay? Holding your mouth right next to it. And holding it with both hands. Ask your question by kind of pushing your breath out as you speak. Your breath flows over the Bible. Then you open the Bible up and read the first passage that your eyes fall upon. Mine is Psalm 107. I'll just read the first bit. Give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he hath redeemed from the hand of the enemy, and so on and so on and so on. But I think it's cool I opened up to Psalms, because that's part of Conjure. So that's bibliomancy, and how you do that. This is a simple but powerful way to get guidance when you are lost and don't know what to do next. You can also find powerful works in the Bible through bibliomancy. The Bible is a strong tool if you know how to work with it. And if you don't know how to work with it, or if you have a hard time praying or reading the Bible, try bibliomancy, because it will get you to at least read it, even if you don't know where to start. Anything else you could add to your altar is a bonus. Nowadays, you know, like bones, definitely bones, taxidermy, feathers, things like that, I would think are going to be directly connected to Conjure and the altar. Nowadays, money is a big issue with almost everyone, with careers not paying as well as they have in the past. Unemployment high and success seeming just out of reach. In reality, success is never out of reach unless we claim it is. Words are power, and if you say something enough, Spirit is going to begin to believe in it. If you keep saying, I'm so broke, I'm so broke, I'm so broke, that is why. If you say, I'm getting out of this broke cycle from now on. I'm getting out of this broke cycle from now on. I'm getting out of this broke cycle from now on. I'm not broke anymore. I'm never going to be broke again. Just change it. Change what you're saying, you know? Because like that said, spirit will start to believe it, and then that's what path it will choose for you. So, you know, you're doing the choosing. You just have to say it right. And you have to get your mindset correctly, and you have to believe what you say. It's working for me. It can work for you. Honk honk. Words are power. So remember, whatever you claim. Here's a simple but powerful way to draw prosperity, money, and success into your life. This is called a success altar. Where are we at for time? We'll get through off altars. Okay. Clean your area and the altar. Your prayer and petition while you were cleaning: may all blocks and cross conditions be removed. May only prosperity and success sit here. I truly believe success and prosperity are a mindset. I want to share a story with you before we move on to the success altar. Last week I was going to get a drink at my favorite drive-thru. Then I passed by an old business that had been closed for years. Behind the building I saw a tent, and I thought, dear Lord, someone is homeless living in a tent. This stayed on my mind. The other day I passed by there again, and a guy was laid back in a chair underneath a tree, and with his shades on, looking at his phone like he didn't have a care in the world. We see that a lot in Seattle, by the way. It's a big issue. That is the feel that this spirit was putting off as I looked at him. When I told my granddaughter what I had seen, she laughed and said, well, Mima, ain't that what you teach us? To act successful and rich even if we ain't got 2 cents to our name? Any other way of thinking would make us have even less. God, I love that. I'm not sure how I like my own teachings given back to me, but she did have a point. Even though she was living in a tent, she didn't have to act like it. She didn't have to claim it. It reminded me of my mama. I wanted a pair of boots one time, and of course I couldn't get them yet, so I said something. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember that what she said to me was about complaining. The little girl complained about not having any shoes until she saw the old boy with no feet. I will never forget that little lesson as long as I live. That's a good one. The points of these stories have everything to do with conjure work and success because we become what we claim we are. At one time, many years ago, I wanted to become a writer that would be able to help folks learn through my writings. Here I am writing book after book that just flow out of me. The time has come to stop complaining about what you don't have and start building on what you do have. Start giving gratitude all of the time. Every time you start to mentally feel like you don't have anything, give gratitude for what you do have. It will immediately cheer you up. It will. And if it doesn't, then, gosh, I don't know, but do it more if it doesn't, because you really need to start feeling happy for what we do have. Because this is our life, you know. Now let's get that success altar built. We're going to call it the Crown of Success altar. Crown of Success. Don't go spending a lot of money either. You need to look around your home for things to add to this altar. Add a bright cloth to the altar, something that makes you feel good when you look at it or touch it, or the texture of the material. Find these things to place on your altar that represent success, money, prosperity, and the ideal job or home. Frogs are great for bringing in money, okay? This is the tricky part. Because when we don't have something or it seems out of reach, we tend to be naysayers. You have to look beyond what is missing to find what you need to fill that void. If you are struggling to finish school, find things that represent graduation and the job that you want. If you need a new car, place photos of the one you want on your altar to claim that it is yours. This is kind of like making a law of attraction vision board. Whatever it is that you need or want in your life, place something that represents it, having it on your altar. Build your dream and make it happen. After you get your altar built, once a week, light a candle and give a fresh glass of cool water and any other offerings you want to give, like the food. We will go into more about offerings that you can share in the next chapter. Give thanks for all that you have and that you will have. So give thanks using the law of attraction. Thank you, spirit guides, for bringing me that new Ferrari. I've wanted it for all of these years, and now I finally have it. Did you hear me? Now I finally have it. Okay? You could even start making the $2,500 a month payments to yourself and just putting them in your bank account. Just save up for the down payment for the thing. Start acting like you have it. Pull a Joey from Friends and buy a Porsche coat, if this Porsche is what you want, or buy a Ferrari coat, or buy a Mini Cooper hat. I've got one. They're great. But act like you already have it, okay? And that mindset will bring it to you. I don't suggest lying to people and telling them that you have it before you have it, but you can start telling people, I will be getting this, because it's almost the same. Or you can say, I'm saving for this now, or I will be getting this within the next 3 months. And then for me, it makes me end up doing it because I don't want to have lied to someone, Okay, where are we at? After you get the altar built, once a week light a candle, fresh glass of cool water, any other offerings. We'll go more into that. Claim the things you want in this life. Pull in the success by doing the work and by claiming what is yours. The only person that can stop you is you. Keep them altars going hot. I love it. And the next chapter is on offerings. So come back and join me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, as we come back to read through this book and talk about offerings. See you back.